couple weeks back, I dropped a video where I kind of mentioned how Kanye and Carti were allegedly beefing after Carti's release of I Am Music, where Kanye was nowhere to be found. And to show how serious that was, these two had been collaborating publicly since before Whole Lotta Red and never stopped even after Kanye started his wildest rants to date. And it seems like this beef got serious pretty quick since Kanye said that Carti threatened him with a gun.
Oh, I gotta tell you another thing that Carti said to me on the phone, nigga. This nigga told me he was at the chateau with a gun, nigga. What that mean, nigga?
But nonetheless, all of it was over some tweets, so I kind of chalked it up to them just having a public disagreement. And while Kanye did get really disrespectful, it seemed like he was just talking out of hurt, and I assumed they'd eventually rekindle and put their differences behind them. But with these new updates in the story, I might have underestimated this beef by like a lot. For reference, Kanye and Carti both dropped basically the same tracks on Instagram, both of them having a feature by Youngboy where Kanye's version had a Kanye verse and Carti's version obviously had a Carti verse, and both tracks had a Swamp Izzo sample from Carti's album. And if you aren't aware, Carti's recent album basically had Swamp all over it, which had me confused already, because if this beef was as serious as they were playing it up to be, I highly doubt Carti would have been okay with Swamp working with Kanye. And I'm not saying that in a oh he needs to ask him for permission kind of way, but I'm just saying, again, they worked on a whole album together, so you can only assume they're somewhat close. But on top of that, when Kanye uploaded his version, because he uploaded his version first, it had a regular Kanye sounding caption talking about Yeezys and whatnot. But when Carti uploaded his version second, his caption was basically dissing Kanye, saying that he stole the song and called him little bro, which I guess you can say explains the Swamp Izzo sample. But this beef is confusing because it's like on Kanye's song, him and Youngboy are going verse for verse, and maybe this could have originally been Carti's beat that already had a Youngboy feature when he showed it to Kanye before they started beefing, and I'll explain why in a second. And Kanye took the beat, rapped out a couple of Youngboy's lines, took Carti's verse off completely, then just dropped it, and Carti got upset and dropped the real version like an hour or two later. But there's also the fact that one of the first lyrics on both of the tracks reference Yeezys, which is Kanye's whole clothing brand, which for one debunks that whole thing, because it's like if Carti brought Kanye the beat with the Youngboy feature, how would it reference Yeezy? And on Carti's track, both him and Youngboy have separate verses. So if Kanye went out of his way to get the Youngboy verse, how did Carti get his hands on it? Nonetheless, this really helps to show how messy and confusing the beef between these two really is. Billboard put together a timeline of how this beef escalated, and even after looking back, it seems like it still wasn't that deep. It basically started when Carti dropped the album. Then Kanye initially reacted saying he just didn't like Kendrick's verse, and then he actually ended up praising the album. And then Kim dropped the story with the song off the album in the background because it shouted out her brand Skims, and that's when Carti said, oh, he wanted to get Northwest on a song. And by the way, that's Kim and Kanye's daughter. And then Kanye almost instantly responded with that, essentially saying, how are you going to put my daughter on the album when I was left off? And he said that he thought that Carti went too far with that. And then Kanye basically mocked Carti's initial tweet, reaching out to Northwest, basically saying the same thing but to Onyx, which is Carti's son. And that's when Carti tweeted out at Kanye to shut up. And if you know Carti, he doesn't respond much, so he must have really had enough of Kanye's nonsense. Like, look at D Savage. D Savage was beefing with Carti for like years, and he never got a response out of him. So Carti was fed up. On top of that, Kanye said he was gonna end Carti's career. I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this, I think he tweeted out a link of Carti's domestic violence body cam footage. He uploaded a post of him saying he made Carti.
So Carti, tell me this: if Chicago's your niece, you gonna say something? Or you just trying to get vocals on your album for hype? You gonna say something? That's your niece, right? You gonna say something now? Carti, stupid ass. This thing is stupid, bro. It's like you don't know when I'm dealing with my kids. This ain't your niece. This is my daughter, nigga. Don't fuck with me, boy. Don't fucking play with me. You letting these white people use us against each other. You letting these Jews use us against each other. I put you on.
And then he even trashed the album in a rant and said that Carti stole his producers.
Motherfucking sisters, no more hugs. That shit light, bro. That shit light. Like, Carti album was trash, bro. Motherfucking Evil Jordan is like the Benjamins. It's one of the best, illest songs ever. That's inside of him. Them fucking choirs on motherfucking Crush is like two niggas thinking they Ye in the studio talk about what would Ye do without calling Ye. Call Ye, nigga. Try Carti, call me, nigga. I wouldn't have did that. Them niggas, matter of fact, Carti stole my producers, bro. Stole OG Volta. Yeah, nigga stole the Skinhead Swag.
And huge props to Youngboy. He had the same verse on both tracks, obviously, but he was rapping like his life depended on it on both tracks, and he washed the both of them. And in my personal opinion, I liked the Kanye and Youngboy song better. You know, it seemed like they actually worked on this together, regardless of whether or not Kanye spliced it together or not. And as far as Carti's version, and other than the beat switching and getting more sinister sounding when it got to Carti's verse, if I didn't know any better, I would have thought Carti basically just smacked his verse at the end of Youngboy's. And on top of that, it really didn't sound too pleasant. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little lost, you know, even after looking into all of this, but leave your own thoughts down below in the comments. You know, when you have a beef with a overly mysterious guy and a guy who's clearly not in his right headspace, you know, you're left to be left confused. But leave your own thoughts down below in the comments. What do you think is next for this beef? Or better yet, who do you think had the better song? Because I see a lot of people saying Carti, but I didn't really like. But if I have to choose one, I'm obviously choosing Kanye's song. You know, it sounded a lot more put together. And yeah, that's basically about it. My name's Sam, and I hope you enjoyed today's video.